I thought we would all start with sharing our successes. We have some special guests on the line, you guys. As you can see, we have some new faces. We're highlighting some people who have joined us with the 28 Day of Weight Loss and have been already posting about their own journey. And we wanted to bring them on this Zoom with us to just share their success for the week. And I want everybody on Facebook, by the way, hey, everybody on Facebook, as well as on Zoom, to just chat in your success for this week as well. Now, maybe you started with us on the 1st, or maybe you started on Monday and you're only a few days in, but that's okay. Just chat in your success. So why don't we start with, on my screen down right next to you is Jamie Joachim from Pennsylvania. And she's going to share with us her success of the week, and she's had great success with the TLS program in the past as well. So Jamie, why don't you start us off?
Sure. Thank you very much for inviting me to do this. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So successes, I've actually began June of last year, and I will say living the TLS lifestyle has been absolutely amazing for me. It has changed me in so many ways that I can't even actually describe, because it's an internal feeling as well as an external feeling. Just for this week, I have noticed that, again, Lauren, congratulations on the workouts, because mine have become a lot easier. I've been doing a lot of, totally lost word. I've been doing some squats. So I've added squats, and now I've added in push-ups, as well as running 100 miles in January. So wow. Getting up, getting out there. And I even ran in the snow the other day when we had unexpected snow. So I do have to say, like, this lifestyle is just amazing. And I'm so happy to be here and be on this.
Awesome. Wow, running in the snow. That's kind of like the dun 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 dun. That's hockey.
Totally rocky territory. I agree.
Big time.
Get those steps in, Jamie. Get those steps in.
Thank you.
Is that something you would have done a year ago, Jamie?
Oh, no. No. I would have been in my comfy, cozy bed and not moved at all. So absolutely not.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing with us, Jamie. Really appreciate it. I'm going to move over to Nancy here, who's coming to us from North Carolina. Right. And Nancy has incredible results with TLS. Nancy, why don't you go ahead and share with us?
Hello, everyone. So I have a 4-month-old baby, and I've been following, I had her on August 20th, and I've been following the TLS systems since then, and I lost over 30 pounds already. And yeah, so I'm excited. I like 10 more pounds to like my pre-baby weight, and I'm excited because this 28 days has pushed me. It's like a restart, like my body, especially after the holidays. Oh my gosh. So 28 days of weight loss has really helped me. I did my yoga this week, which has been so good for my mind and body. And I also finally did my smoothies. I use my new Blend Jet shaker, and I do my smoothies for breakfast, my vegetable smoothies. So I'm really excited about this because I love TLS because I have PCOS, and if you don't know what that is, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. So women with PCOS have the hardest time losing weight, and TLS has been the kicker for me. Like, it has pushed me to my plateaus. It had made me hit what I wanted to hit, and it's just like I'm talking about, I'm getting goosebumps because it's just like my thing. I love TLS. It's just pushed me, and it's been amazing. And I want to tell that story because I want people that with PCOS to understand that it can happen. You can do it. You just have to get the right system in, and TLS is it.
Awesome. Thanks, Nancy.
That's awesome. Great job.
Hey,
Congratulations.
just a quick comment, Nancy, spectacular. Dr. D, what do you suspect with people feeling because they have a certain condition that it's harder for them to get into any type of a weight loss solution or new lifestyle? Do you find that frequently when working with people?
Oh, absolutely. Everything from the persistent fatigue that some people have, to the feeling like they're holding on to extra water, they have a sense of inflammation, right? All of those things we can call impeding forces, right? So it's not just about mindset. It's not just about calories in and calories out, as we often say. It's also about creating a healthy metabolic environment. And that's one of the powerful parts of TLS, is that it focuses on, whether it's through 4 pillars or just low glycemic impact eating, right? That we kind of get to take in through the periphery, we get to ultimately kind of create a healthier metabolic environment, consciously or otherwise, for people. So it works out fantastic. And like Nancy's noting, things that didn't work in the past have just started to capture, get some kind of flow with her. And that's really what it needs to be for many people with hormone related issues, is they just need to be able to push past that stop, that inertia kind of component, and then things start to happen.
Cool. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. And actually, part of our discussion later today, or later in the Zoom, is really about the biology of weight loss and how, if you do have some impeding factors, and we're going to talk about those impeding factors that may slow your results. And when you're doing a healthy lifestyle like TLS, it can be, for some people, discouraging to have a bit of a slower process. And so we want to discuss that tonight, because there's going to be people who are going to drop really quick, and there's going to be people who take a little bit of time. And some of these impeding factors are reasons for that. And so, this is where TLS is truly the solution. It's really the most comprehensive program, because so many programs will throw just shakes and bars at you, and that's what you have to eat for the rest of your life, or they just throw a fitness program at you, or they, it's just products, or it's just a calorie restricted diet, whereas TLS is very comprehensive. So it's going to, really address the whole body, and that's a really incredible aspect. So somebody who's not only crushing it in TLS, but helping a lot of other people with it as well. I'm going to bring on our Red Sox fan here, Doug, and Doug is going to share his success for the week, because of course he joined us, and he's got some people joining with him in these 28 days of weight loss. So go ahead, Doug.
Thank you, Melanie, and thank you everybody for your inspiration. And I'm looking through the chat and seeing everybody having their successes out there. That's absolutely awesome. I started TLS back in 2015 the first time, and lost a total of 40 pounds and kept it off up until about 3 to 4 months ago. With everything going on, kind of got a little lazy, wasn't as active, and all of a sudden I realized it had gotten up there again. So yeah, we kicked off with the 28 days of weight loss, and kicked it off with a group of about 12 of us. We started our detox on Monday. So we're 3 days in, like Dennis, and I'm down 5 pounds right now. Yeah, it got, very, very great results from everybody so far, and absolutely love the recipe booklets that are out there now that make it so easy. My wife, Kathy's the inspiration, and she does all the cooking she's doing with me as well. She's actually doing the alternative detox that Dr. D shared last week, and loving that as well. So she's down a pound with that so far, but we're loving the detox booklet menus, the recipes that are in there. Kathy's been making those up great. So yep, we're really excited to continue this out and helping others. I was just telling Melanie that I just had another webinar tonight right before this, and we had 3 new people on with that based on the results that everybody else.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well done, Doug.
That's so
Take
great.
some people with you. It's way more fun to do it together. It's a way to stay accountable, right? So thanks for joining us, Doug, and way to go on the first 5 pounds of your goal gone. So that's awesome. Next, I want to go ahead and bring on Bonnie. Bonnie is also an incredible, TLS story as well. So Bonnie, why don't you go ahead and share your success for this week as well?
Okay, so I really didn't get started till Monday because hubby was on vacation till Sunday. So I kept sneaking in the drinks and everything. I've been around a while. I eat well. I love greens, but Lauren, you really helped me out this time with all of these. And I'll tell you why. Owning up to things publicly. And I think the biggest thing where my success came from, well, first of all, I am motivated by other people. I think everything that everybody's going on, more people are stepping up and wanting to do something this year. So the 28 days was perfect timing. So I think the biggest success I have is putting it out there and going public with admitting my personal obstacles. Everyone who knows me, my sleep patterns are not that well. and I had to really pay attention. And what I did is I moved my phone. I moved my phone away from my bed, so I'm not looking at it at night. And in the morning, I have to actually get out of bed to grab it. That was really big. The other thing is that I have just realized that I need that extra 30 minutes of cardio or movement, either a walk or something, in addition to the weight training. I hired a trainer, and I'm with her 3 times a week. It doesn't do it, everybody. I have to have the movement for 30 days. So I've committed to do that again. And I'm recruiting my neighbors left and right to do walks. They say, oh, I need to walk. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then the other thing is to recommit, to realize that Zoom has gotten us at the computer so much. So I had to do something to make sure, like, I love water, but if I'm on meetings, I don't get it. So I had actually one of my business partners bought this for me. But what's really good about it is I lose track of what I did or didn't drink. And now that tells me. So I know, and it keeps me on track. So that's been so awesome. And I re-added TLS shakes in for the skipping, so that I stop skipping. I'm making sure the every 4 hours. And actually, even though I started Monday, I'm a girl that goes up and down when I'm not good. So literally I can go up 5 pounds, 6 pounds in a weekend. It's ridiculous. But I gotta say, I did the NutriClean fiber with a couple aloe tabs and the Hepatic Cleanse, went real clean Monday, and I've lost 5 of those pounds.
Wow.
Okay, so, but now you got to keep going. So let's.
Yeah. That's a great start to your week.
That's awesome, Bonnie.
I love it.
Loving it. Hey, just a plug real quick, Bonnie. Tomorrow is Tone Up Thursday, so join me. Got some cool stuff gonna put on Facebook Live, maybe some insights to just add on to the training and your activities.
That's awesome. I'll do it.
Very good. Hey, last but not least, from our special guests, and then we're going to get to our, usual suspects. Wendy Mo Quinn. She is also been crushing it with TLS recently, and I am just so excited for her to share her win. Go ahead, Wendy.
Yeah, I started, what really got me committed to doing it was just being committed to the 28 days of skincare. And what made me realize how powerful this accountability is that, wow, because I'd skip a day or two with skincare and so on and so forth. But being on that 28 days of skincare, I was so committed morning and night to my skincare routine. I figured, you know what, I'm going to hop on the TLS bandwagon this time. I had done the cleanse in November, right before Thanksgiving, and my family's like, why do you always do this? You're always cleansing before the big meal. And I said, well, I'm doing it because right then and there, I felt like I had to do it. It was just, my head was there. And I was so good on Thanksgiving. It was incredible. And I was good right up until we got a snowstorm. And I lost about 5 pounds on my first, in November with the cleanse. And then I just kind of fell away. But when I went back to this on Monday, I didn't go like Bonnie. I didn't do it over the weekend. I hadn't gained any of my weight back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I went through Christmas. I went through, drinking and eating stuff that I wasn't used to doing. And Melanie said to me, that's because your metabolic flexibility has kicked in. I'm like, ooh, that sounds really impressive. Okay. So I'm so committed to it. I love eating clean. I can feel such a difference. I don't feel good when I'm not eating TLS lifestyle. When I get back on it, it's so easy, and to sit there and relish the taste of the freshness of the food and seafood and salads and fresh vegetables. You don't want that other stuff, So it's just been such an amazing program. I got my neighbor on it. She just texted me. She lost 3 pounds already. And person who might be buying our house, I was telling Dennis, I got him on the TLS weight loss program as well. He was on last week. So I got 2 customers on it, which is really great. So it's such an amazing lifestyle to live. It's not a diet. I get really irritated. People go, you on a diet? And I said, no, I just have a new lifestyle. And it works.
That's awesome.
Well done.
We appreciate it. And, the reason that we asked these amazing people to be on is because they posted and used the hashtag 28 days of weight loss and posted about their journey. And so definitely be sure that you are, all of you who are doing this along with us, do what Bonnie is doing, do what Wendy and Doug and Nancy and Jamie are doing, and post your hashtag 28 days of weight loss daily, and something about your journey, something about your day, whether it's your meal or your TLS shake, or, you know, you're enjoying your trim cafe or tea. And Jessica just chatted in and she said, who knew celery actually has a flavor, has a taste, right? And that's what's really amazing when you're cleaning your palate, is that you start to taste what food actually tastes like. Vegetables, right? That vegetables have a flavor, and this is an incredible thing. And so as you're posting, we're going to be able to find you by searching that hashtag. Maybe you'll be invited to be joining us with a little success story on a webinar, but also you're going to qualify for one of the cash prizes. One of the criteria for the cash prizes is that you would be posting daily with the hashtag. The contest rules will go up on all of our blogs, our TLS blog, Lauren's blog, JR's blog. They'll go up tomorrow, no later than tomorrow, but we did discuss it last week, right? Lauren announced first prize is $2,500, second prize is $1,500, and third prize is $1,000, just for committing to yourself. And we have the criteria of what you need to do in the sense of what you're submitting to us at the end of the 28 days, what we need from you at the end of the 28 days. But the first criteria you definitely need to know is start posting daily. That's how we're going to find you. That's how we're going to see you and know you're in it to win it. So without further ado, Dennis, what was your big win for the week?
Well, I have to be real honest. On Friday the 1st, I went from IPOs to light beer. That was a big thing for me. Then I started cutting back on my foods. But, you know, the greatest thing about these last 3.5, 4 days is going strictly with the power foods. I feel, first of all, deflated. As far as my body was puffy from the holidays, 35 days from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve, man, it was abuse. And I'm so happy. I'm so much more energized to be this lifestyle. But yes, my win was cutting it back and eating the power foods of the TLS lifestyle. And I'm 2.5 pounds down.
That is right.
Dennis, that's awesome. So sticking to the power foods list. All right, Dr. D, what was your win for the week?
So a lot of you know that I'm pushing against hormones, and I want to be very healthy and stay, as Wendy mentioned and as Melanie mentioned, metabolically flexible, right? So I want my muscles to fight back and keep me youthful. And part of that isn't just daily movement. It starts with daily movement for a lot of people. But at a certain point in metabolism, you have to make sure that you're putting in meaningful time. And for me, it was really easy, as you mentioned, Dennis, with 35 days in where like people kind of give themselves some time off, they give themselves a break. I had shared publicly, I love what Bonnie said, because I had shared publicly, that's exactly what happened to me, is I just wasn't going hard enough in the gym. So I really dedicated, I wrote a completely new fitness plan for myself. And I'm really putting in the effort. And I love what Jamie said about running in the snow and feeling like Rocky, because that's exactly what I do. I go out in the morning and I just feel like Rocky. I make sure I run a mile every morning, and then I come back and I've got a patio. I've got a gym on my patio. And so it's 28 degrees outside, but I'm still doing deadlifts. I'm still doing bench press. And it's invigorating. And I like moved around today with amazing energy. And that's where I think I notice it first, is I'm just like, I am on fire.
Well done.
I mean, Dr. D says
Fantastic. I love that. I love it. I love deadlifts. Deadlifts are awesome. So Zayna,
they make you feel so strong. You're like, I'm a beast.
I hate them. I did them today. They were my thing today. I had to do them. I was miserable doing them, but I'll tell you about it later.
you're gonna learn to love leg day. You're gonna learn to love it. Women,
leg day every day, so don't worry. Legs is always in for us. Trust me, I do legs all the time.
it shows because Lauren, I always tell everybody
right.
that you have the most beautiful legs.
Thank you. I do have good legs, but we do work hard on our legs a lot.
It's
just
full body, full
the
body.
full body thing. The legs are a lot though.
Yeah, a couple
And
ladies.
he's got to make sure that like he's fully credible.
Oh,
Yeah,
Full body. You're totally street credible.
That's right.
well, it's just
It's
this, when I walk in the room with Andrew and he starts clapping, he got so excited that I was in
No,
the
like,
gym with
Lauren-
the trainer.
Lauren's
And
in
he's
the
like,
building.
Lauren's in the building. That stress and that pressure on me is not
Yeah.
really needed.
No,
I-
it's not bad. It's
No, I know it was
yeah.
encouragement, but it was stressful because all of a sudden, the trainer's on Zoom, of course. So
He's on the iPad.
I'm on the
It's a
iPad, so
stand,
he's
yeah.
all eyes on me like, okay, Lauren, he sounded like you, Deidre. He was like, okay, 20, right away, 20. I was like, remember, I haven't worked out in like 3 months. So let's go easy. He goes, no, there's no going easy. Your body's going to remember it. Let's go. And I mean, we went at it.
Yeah, I
right?
feel like the only number he knows is 20.
Yeah, 20.
So it's
That's stamina, endurance. That's good. That's
No, I'll
Oh,
tell
she
you.
did great.
I'll tell you guys about my week. I'll let Suzanne go.
that was great.
Son, go ahead. What's your success for the week?
Well, you know that I have always been a night owl, so I want to shift to be a morning person. Not quite, since last time when we had the Zoom to share, not quite that long enough to completely become a overhaul to be a morning person. However, I discovered something and I set some rules. I find that when you set some rules, it really helped. And I'm going to share what I did. So one thing I did is very similar to Bonnie, I make sure my phone is in the master bathroom. So when it rings, I have to go walk that far to get it. So I don't snooze. That's number one. Second is that I find it's very helpful because when I have a very busy day, it's very hard for me to kind of relax to go to sleep. So I give myself, so as you set the alarm, that's such a time, I have to turn off all the electronic. So my brain is not always actively working. And that 1 hour I can read, I can do, I probably put on a mask. I'm doing more self-care now. And I find that I can sleep much more faster. And I think that really helped me to get a deeper sleep because the next morning I noticed that my energy level was much more sustainable in the afternoon. Whereas in the past, I would be looking for that sweet because I was like, okay, why am I looking for that sweet while I'm working? It was because I didn't get that sleep that I needed. And I noticed that as a side effect of getting better sleep because I plan. So I want to share that what my biggest win is that although I'm not quite the early because I'm still like sleeping by 11, my goal was still 10 by 11. But I think setting these goals by putting the cell phone in the bathroom and actually do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 jump. And if I was still tired, I actually did some dancing. I'm walking there and I'm down. Movement really changed. And at that point, you have that energy and you're ready to kind of kickstart your morning. So that really helped me a lot. So I can't wait for 10 to 6. That's my goal.
So you mean shuffling grumpily to the kitchen to have a coffee isn't the solution? You should start dancing right away when you get up. I like it. I like it a lot. Andrew, we're gonna end with Lauren. So Andrew, how about you? What was your success for the week?
My success and what? Excuse me.
Well, get me in the gym.
Yeah. My success was I guess encouraging Lauren, but she did it first day back in the gym, and eating properly and supplementing. But I guess my win or my success comes in the form of what I learned. So as I mentioned on last week's broadcast, I'm very consistent with respect to exercise. I'm balanced in regards to my eating habits, although it's not always low glycemic index, but it's very, very balanced. And supplementation, I'm very heavy on all of our stuff. So I listened to the recording of Melanie's Facebook Live, which is all about low glycemic eating and foods. And so I learned a lot. Number one, there's 40 years of research behind this. I learned this it's a holistic approach. I never thought about using the term holistic. I always, talked about being science-based and a very comprehensive approach, but being holistic, of course, is part of it. So I like that. But then I also learned that, eating low glycemic index, really does keep your body in the fat burning zone, which is something I didn't really realize. And I also didn't realize that it also is a great natural anti-inflammatory and great for cardiovascular health. So this, and it just makes sense when you look, and I thought Billy did a great job it's only a 16-minute lesson, but it covered so much. And And it made so much sense. It made a lot of, of course, it was science-based, but it's a lot of common sense regarding, eating low glycemic index and the impact that it has on your metabolism and your body. So that's something I wanted to accomplish. And so I'm just starting a little win, a little bit of, more knowledge that I gained. And so that was my success for the week, if that's okay.
Nice.
That was great.
And we're doing the Zoom, just the live. So Zan did one on Monday. She'll continue to do her Mindful Mondays. I'll be doing Tune-Up Tuesdays. Dennis is doing Tone-Up Thursdays. So he's live tomorrow at 11 a.m. And then I'm back on Friday at 11 a.m. And these are where we're giving you a little bit more information as well in bite-sized pieces. So definitely be doing what Andrew's doing and watching those.
Very valuable.
Sorry?
Very valuable information. The insight on that was phenomenal. And one more point that stuck with me, and it was a quote quoting Melanie from that lesson, which was, abs are built in the kitchen. And so that, of course, that was toward the beginning. And I thought that was great because it really speaks to eating low glycemic index and what it can do for your metabolism and your system, beyond what you do from your exercise or your workout regimen. So thanks for that. Yeah.
So exciting. That actually reminds me of my success for the week really quick, because my success of the week, or my goal, is to get back to that where I can see my abs. And so and a huge part of that exercise has been on point during this entire situation that we've had in 2020. But my diet, I'm back on, just like Dennis, back on eating the power foods, back on track, clean eating, and I'm feeling great. So that's my success of the week. I love dairy. Dairy doesn't love me. I do best on phase 2 lifestyle. That's where I live. And then my cheat meals are like sure and steady. So like those are my cheat meals, you guys. or what my trainer said, no, your treat meals, not your cheat meals. Nobody likes being cheated on. So you treat yourself. And so I'm back on my TLS lifestyle. So I'm super, super feeling awesome about that. So that's my success. Lauren, tell us.
Reading all the success stories, because obviously I'm so happy that there's so many people on with us tonight that are having the same type of successes, right? That's what this was supposed to be about. For me, I love carbs. Andrew will tell you, I love carbs, I think, more than most people on the planet. I love pasta and bagels and cereal, and pasta and bagels and cereal. And if you love that stuff like me, then you will understand why this at first was like a real mental prep for me. And I'm sure that one of Dr. Deidre's big feats of the week was dealing with me weekly and daily, but we actually got through it because you have to coach with somebody, right? You need people to look up to. So I was on the phone with Melanie and Dennis, and Suzanne was texting me, keeping me going. We were all communicating with each other, which is what we're supposed to be doing here live and on Facebook after these events. So it was obviously a mental prep for me at first, thinking that I'm not going to have the bagels, I'm not going to have the pasta, but I was reaching out to everybody, like, is there any pasta substitutes? And of course, Dr. Deidre was amazing. She gave me a great edamame one, which I've ordered and it arrives tomorrow, which I'm excited about. I think it's all about getting your mind right. Like Bonnie said, I'm all about, getting the message out to everybody about what I'm going to do, because I love accountability. I am not the type of person who's jealous of people. I'm really inspired by success. I've always been in success. I'm not one of those girls like, oh my God, I don't like her. I can't believe she did it. I don't like her. I don't want to do it. Nobody wants to do that, when really deep in your heart, you want to be that and do that. I've always been like, she can do it. That's inspiring. I want to go get it. Let's do it. Right. And find the person that I'm inspired by. And that's why I believe that sharing this information and doing these nightly calls and the weekly weigh-ins and all the Thursdays with Dennis are so important to the process. And I think if you really I told Dr. Deidre the other day, I've really had to find myself planning out what I eat, so I don't go grab the wrong things, because as I explained to all of you before, and some of you understand this and can relate to it, I'm a stress eater. So today at 10 o'clock, I made sure that I was dressed and ready for my workout. You know what I mean? It was mine and Jared's first day home. And we went away for the Bahamas with the kids, and Amber contained on the boat. I'm not one who loves to travel. Jared will tell you, I'm more the person who likes to stay at home and work. And that's just who I am as a person. So getting me to go away is already always a struggle. I'm always finding a million reasons why I shouldn't go. But I stayed on the boat because I don't like the sun. I stayed on the boat and kind of focused on what I was going to be eating all week long and plan my meals daily, which I really think helps, because if you're under stress like I am, and you have a lot of people who rely on you and a lot of people that you need to answer to, because just because people think if you're the boss, you don't have to answer to people. No, I have to answer to a lot of people, a lot more people than you can possibly imagine. So yeah, and the field, of course. So, you know, when you're answering to people, you want to really prep yourself. So when we got into the gym this morning at 10 a.m., I actually arrived yesterday afternoon. And as soon as I got in, I started pouring all my supplements out. If you have not tried Axe, let me tell you, I highly recommend it. It has really taken the edge off of my stress, you know, and Angel's in the room right now, making sure technology goes well, but we had a stressful day and we both handled it really, really well. If you take Axe, I can really tell you, I feel like it takes the edge off. You need to be taking the CLA and you need to be taking the core. I really do believe it's curbing my cravings for sugar. It's curbing my cravings for carbs. That's a big thing for me. I thought for sure I was going to have the headaches. I thought for sure that I was going to be sleepy because I wasn't eating what I wanted. I'd be miserable. I'm actually more energized, less sleepy, and sleeping better. So I got up this morning at 10, went to the gym, did an hour workout with Andrew, got interrupted at 10:59, found out somebody violated the system and was in the area of my vicinity, my compound that has a big circle around it that nobody can infiltrate. Somebody had COVID. We were fast to get them out of the property before anybody tested everybody again, made sure everybody was negative, kept everybody at a 6-foot distance, masked everybody, handled all of those problems without panicking, had not eaten. At 12 o'clock, I had not even gotten to get food because I was dealing with this. And I was thinking to myself, I texted the kitchen saying, somebody look at the menu I sent them from yesterday and make an egg white omelet, so I don't go grab the wrong things. Because I'm the type of person that if I'm not planning ahead of things and I'm dealing with stress, I'm going right into the pantry filled with all the junk and I'm going to grab the first thing I see, which is exactly what I didn't do today, which is totally unlike me. That's a huge win. I grabbed all of the right things, and I remember Dennis telling me, grab a handful of almonds, which is exactly what I did, to get me by until the omelet was ready, which I was rushing everybody. Can somebody get the omelet? You know, because you're hungry, but I ate the almonds, I got by, I did great. Then I can't tell you how much the TLS shake, by the way, guys. I mean, these are products we've had for a long time that I haven't really experienced like I should, which is why I'm doing this with you. The TLS shake, Jared and I have been taking, and Jared's of course doing it with me too. And I told him today he looks so skinny and so good, but he won't weigh himself for me because he looks so skinny. But he had the,
oh, here we go. He measured himself.
He said he measured himself, Dennis. He measured himself, but what's that?
An inch and a half less than 2 weeks.
An inch and a half less
Wow.
than a week ago when he started.
Yeah.
Yes, but yes, you're getting a lot of applause, but I will tell you this, the TLS shake is an amazing in between. So for me, I'm doing like the 3 meals plus the 2 snacks, right? And the snack is, you know, the slow, right? The sure and steady.
Sure and steady.
Sure and steady. And, you know, for me, it's more about like, I don't even sometimes drink the whole thing. Like if I feel like I may have a moment where I'll get hungry later in the day, because you may know, like me, when you get hungry. I'm not a big dinner person. I never have been, but I sure love breakfast and lunch. So I may make my shakes a little bit smaller. So when so if I want to have an extra one, I haven't abused the amounts I'm allowed to have.
Can you order me a shake?
JR, I'll order you a shake in 5 minutes. Just wait.
Get back to
He's
work,
like, can you
JR. Get
order
back to
me a
work.
shake now? Anyway, my point is this, after doing all the right things, planning my meals, which by the way, only takes 15 minutes of your time to do, doing the workout, you know, I'm 6 days in, I lost 5 pounds. I feel really great about that. And I think more importantly than the weight, I mean, because, you know, my goal is to lose 25 pounds, but more importantly than the weight is that I am sleeping better this week than I've ever slept. And everybody knows I do not sleep. Deidre knows I do not sleep at all. And so I do not sleep normally. And I've gone to bed every night at a decent time and gotten a full 8 hours of sleep, which I have not done in years.
That's big.
So good.
And I'm not getting headaches, and I'm not getting that lull that I always got from 2 to 4 p.m. where I can
After you
sleep.
just hit a wall,
I
exactly.
know what that
Yes.
is. That's because you're eating more low glycemic index.
Have you noticed me take a nap? No.
No, you didn't take
And
that.
here's-
And I will
and-
notice because of there was some drama this morning, like you
Yes,
said.
and normally I would.
You were much more calm.
I'm
than
much
you
more
than
calm.
I think you would have been
And so
previously.
let
I
me
was-
tell
that's
you,
true.
my life before, and I say this so all of you can relate to me, because like Bonnie said, I put it all out there. Why? Because I want you to connect at any level you can. My life before was like, I would go 3 to 4 hours of sleep, didn't want to miss a thing, researched at night when nobody was up, spent all my time at night to myself working on things I wanted to come out with projects, wake up, always want to be the first person up in the morning, don't want to miss a thing, go all day hard, take a nap. And I tell everybody at 2:15 or 3 o'clock, anytime between there, I tell them, look, I'm going to sleep in 1 minute. You can ask Andrew. I'll go to sleep in 1 minute, wake me up in 15. Exactly, it would happen every time. Yes or
True.
no?
No, it's true.
On the clock, I'd be like, I'm going to bed. I'll be up in 15 minutes. And my clock was just programmed to do that. This is the first week, I have not taken a nap and I don't know how long. Not that the naps are bad, but for me, I got enough sleep that I didn't need that nap, and I didn't have that afternoon lull from having too many carbs or one too many bagels or too much bread. And that's what happens. You know, it's not like people look at the fat content of spaghetti or pasta or bread and they think, well, this doesn't even have any fat in it. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. And that's what I'm
High
learning.
glycemic
Yeah,
index.
it's what I'm learning about this process, about how it converts it down and breaks it to sugar. And so I feel like for the first time, I feel more energy, less stress, less agitated, if that's possible. I know
I think it's true.
I
I can attest to it because I think
it was
I could
chaotic this
witness it.
morning.
But I think what you've just done, you've touched on every single aspect of this system.
Yeah,
And you're already experiencing positive
Yeah.
results just in a few days.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I think Andrew was there when I did deal with this morning. And I think, I handled it much better than I normally would, much better. And I really do attribute that, by the way, to the Axe. I believe it's my new favorite product. I think everybody needs to get it. It really helps, reduce that level of stress and anxiety that you should not be having on you to begin with. But I just think if you take the time, I know it can be overwhelming. This whole process for me is like, at first, before I did it, I was like, okay, I got to do this, Lauren, you got to do this, you got to do it like everything else you've ever done. And this is a lot of pressure on you because everybody's watching and you've put it out there. But then now I decided it's not pressure on me. It's actually fun. And we can make the best of this. And we're actually learning a new way of doing things. And it's not about starving. And that's not to say you can't ever have pasta again. It's just for me right now, I can't. But I will have pasta again.
Well, as
But
long as
I'll
you
do it.
eat protein and fiber, which blunts the
Exactly.
glycemic index.
Exactly. So I think,
One video and he's an expert.
yeah, this guy
That's an armchair quarterback right there.
right there. No, he's
Good.
very good. He's actually a great support. And I highly recommend if you're doing this at home, and you have a partner who can help hold you accountable. I think that's important too, even if they're not on the program with you. I always tell Andrew, remind me to take my pills now, 30 minutes before I eat. And the other ones I take right at when I'm eating. And then, I made him a shake the other day
Which
for the
was
first
great.
time.
Very
And,
good.
I
It's
put a
something-
lot of
yeah,
ice in
that's
it because I like it to feel crunchy and icy and feel like a real treat to me. I don't know how you like it. And I think the colder, the better, but it's so good after a while. My daughter was like, can I try that? I was like, and Amber's such an amazing eater anyway. But when she tried it, she was like, oh my God, this is so good. When you have them make you one, have them make me one. So I think it's something you can make fun for the family. Because I really do think it's all about accountability, like Bonnie was talking about earlier, and having somebody to hold you accountable. I'm not only holding you accountable, you're holding me accountable. And that's what we're doing here without the stress. you know, without feeling obligated, without feeling you don't know if you can make it through the next day. I love that, you know, the sharing of recipes like Doug talked about. You know, Dennis wrote me the other day and sent me a recipe of some chicken nuggets that Nancy was making him. I think it's about, that's what makes this different for all of us, that we have each other. And that when you're having a moment, there's not at any point you can pop on Facebook and leave us a message, and one of us will likely see that message pop up and get back to you right away. The idea behind this is for you to succeed, and whatever that means to you. For some people, it means different things. It may mean more weight to me than it means to Melanie, but you know, more weight to somebody else than it means to me. The point is, it's meaningful to everybody. And the program really does work. And, you know, you just got to do it. It depends if you're willing to work it.
Amen.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank you to our panelists who join us today to share their success with us. We really appreciate you being here. We appreciate you committing to yourself and to our 28 days of weight loss and being our first, you know, leaders within that. So appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. So we wanted to talk a little bit tonight about the biology of weight loss, to kind of go over, you know, some of you on the line or on Facebook might be like, wow, people are losing all these pounds. And, you know, I don't feel like the scales moved at all for me. I don't think things are moving along as quickly. And so one of the first things I just want to say is, you should never, ever, 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 ever flipping ever compare yourself to other people. Okay. Your body, your journey, your history, your present is very different than everybody else's. And so your journey is going to be as well. The second thing is that there is a lot of factors going on in the body that we want, you know, that we need, that will eventually be addressed through our healthy lifestyle, through the TLS program. You know, when you're giving your body the tools it needs, it has the ability to balance itself. It has the ability to heal itself. Right programmed into the RNA and DNA of our very cells is the desire for the body to balance and heal itself. And so all we have to do is give it the right tools and the right environment and the right foundation. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the biology of weight loss, and the one that personally was a huge factor for me was digestion. So, you know, it's kind of like my whole family on my mom's side all has digestive issues, right? Oh, you're just going to have digestive issues, right? You're just going to deal with this. And I'm so glad that I was reprogrammed on that, because I no longer deal with digestive issues, but it was a huge factor in spending years trying to lose weight and eating right and moving more and getting up at 4 to get a workout in and going crazy with all the things, right, that we're supposed to do, and still not getting those results. And it really came down for me to digestion and not absorbing what I was eating, not getting in those nutrients, because I had eaten a diet very high in simple carbs, similar to Lauren, to what you're talking about. You know, I grew up on Captain Crunch or a cereal in the morning, you know, grilled cheese sandwiches or bagels, you know, meat and potatoes for dinner, very, very, lots of junk food, lots of simple flour products that turn to sugar in the blood, but also turn to paste in the body, right? I mean, my grandparents put wallpaper up with, you know, flour and water. And so when you eat pasta or bread and what the stuff that I grew up eating, I mean, I'm Dutch, bread and cheese, come on, that's what we do. And so it was just a lot of paste in my body, creating digestive issues. Glue in the colon, as I say, is a recipe for all kinds of digestive issues. And I'm blessed that I got to address that very quickly and early in my life. But can create some detrimental issues in the digestive system long term when we're eating a high glycemic impact or a high glycemic diet, a diet high in simple carbohydrates. We can create a lot of digestive distress. And then what happens is we get an excess of the bad bacteria in our colon. And this is what caused my insatiable cravings that would happen at about 9 p.m. at night. And because it wasn't me that wanted all the sugar or the cookies or the the chips, it was the bacteria that needed me to support its life cycle with more simple carbs. And so willpower doesn't even come in at this point, you guys. So if you are dealing with that kind of issue, understand you're not failing if you can't, if you've tried all the things and still can't get over those cravings where you just need and have to. Like, I would leave my apartment, I would go to the gas station, I would buy something, I would eat it in private. And it wasn't until I addressed digestion, it wasn't until I looked at a holistic picture of my health that I was able to lose the weight and keep it off, because of that bad bacteria, because of the lifestyle that created it. I was dealing with, those types of issues, which slowed my results initially. And so I just want everybody to be very patient and loving with themselves and their body when it comes to balancing out or really addressing digestive health. And so that's the biology of weight loss from the digestive standpoint. Dee, I know you're going to speak to it from a hormone standpoint. We're talking about sex hormones. Yeah. You're muted though.
They want people to hear me typing.
There she is.
So, I mean, you're absolutely right. And what I love about something that Lauren said, and you said, Melanie, was this idea of like that carbs, or that your gut really wanted you to eat that sugar. And that's a really true statement. People say, God, that sounds so esoteric. Your gut GI, the bugs that are in your intestine really are influencing brain function, cardiovascular function, weight, energy, metabolism, mood. There's a lot that they're doing. And something that Lauren had mentioned about how she kind of splits her servings of her shakes, that is a perfect solution for anyone that's afraid, like you used to do, Melanie, of eating something late at night, like that 9 o'clock gas station run, right? That 3 a.m. gas station run, right? Where you unapologetically just go, whatever, I need this. Those TLS shakes are a brilliant solution for that late night. And I don't want anyone to miss how powerful that is. But when we talk about the biology of hormones, bear with me, like put on your seatbelt, because it's hard to talk about hormones and do it concisely, but I'm going to do my very best to help you understand how your hormones can wreak havoc, but how, regardless of your age, you can do something about those hormones. If you're not losing weight, you want to first and foremost remember that metabolism is more than calories in and calories out. Your stress matters, your sleep matters, your mood matters, right? That's why Melanie's point was so poignant. It's one reason, as I said earlier, that TLS is as good as it is, because it's this comprehensive solution. You've heard us say several times that it helps you be social. It helps you live a lifestyle where you don't feel deprived. And it's because it focuses on those 4 critical pillars, not just of weight loss, you guys, of healthy aging, low GI eating, body composition through exercise, identifying your inflammation factors, right? Like Andrew talked about, getting a better education, and repairing your metabolism and aging metabolism with supplements. That's part of the aging story too. Your hormones matter. And I'm not just talking about blood sugar hormones either, right? I'm not just talking about your sleep hormones. Melanie let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to talk about your sex hormones. Let's talk about sex, right? I'm talking about your sex hormones because they impact your thyroid, your mood, they impact weight loss. Men, we're going to start with you because, quite frankly, when we talk about weight loss, men often get completely ignored or overlooked. Testosterone is known by almost everybody as the male hormone, right? Women have it. We just have it to a lesser degree. It's partially responsible for your muscle mass. So it's lifting up heavy things, but it's absolutely responsible for your sleep and your thyroid function. Testosterone declines after the age of 30 in men and women, and stress is one of its number 1 foes. Extra weight and sedentary lifestyles are next in line. So not only does a poor diet add to extra inches or centimeters around the middle, so does a loss of your testosterone, right? So as testosterone starts to go down, we start to see more female shape in men because they start putting on or depositing fat in places that men don't normally put on weight, like around their hips. And so low testosterone, because you're overly stressed, you don't get a good night's sleep or a poor diet, right? All of these things can actually create that environment I mentioned earlier that doesn't allow you to lose weight because you're not creating the best environment for testosterone to rise. And then age, of course, puts us behind the 8 ball for many of those things, but we can get it back. One reason I don't think enough men pay attention to for this change in their body shape is that low testosterone also limits insulin and thyroid activity. And in fact, that's the #1 complaint that women have, low thyroid function, right? This has something to do with their sex hormones, not just her testosterone, which comes from her ovaries. So I want us to consider people that don't have their ovaries anymore, non-functioning ovaries, right? Nancy talked a little bit about how that's one of her concerns, and it made it harder for her to lose weight. Testosterone, thyroid is absolutely necessary for a woman and a man to lose weight. But there's another critical hormone for weight loss in women. It's called progesterone. I like to call it the whittle your middle hormone, get a better night's sleep hormone. I want to have sex hormone. It's that hormone, you guys, that prevents a woman from uttering the words, do you know where to bury a body? Right? It is our feel-good hormone, and we lose it just like testosterone around the age of 30, and it's a precipitous decline. And the reason why we know it's a precipitous decline is because what also happens around the age of 30, right? Maybe you're growing a family, executive positions, right? Your stress levels go up and your sleep goes down. And when that happens, your environment is not in a good place for your progesterone to do what it's supposed to do. And as a result of that, you start to see low thyroid function again. So weight gain, ladies, it's not about enough estrogen. It was never about enough estrogen. It was about not having enough progesterone. And that started in your 30s. And then think about menopause, because that's when testosterone leaves a woman's ovaries as well. So we've got 2 hormones, if we don't sleep well and we're overly stressed, that are going to plummet and prevent your thyroid from working and your ability to lose weight. In addition to that, not enough testosterone, progesterone, and thyroid means that you don't build bone mass the way you're supposed to. And we can't go without saying that your sexual appetite will also be low. So whether you're male or female, I recommend our Prime line because we've got Prime products. They're labeled for men and women. Prime Prostate for men has botanicals to support testosterone function as well as healthy blood sugar. And Prime Feminine has aspects and botanicals that help get estrogen and progesterone in balance, right? As well as help us with testosterone production and libido. There's other products that I love, like Women's Health. This is a multivitamin that was formulated for these exact issues. Anti-aging is a fantastic multivitamin for men. But there's one step, and Melanie already mentioned it, that you cannot skip if you want to get your hormones in healthy balance. If you can't skip detoxification. It's absolutely critical for menopause and andropause. It's not a myth, right? It's physiology. Your liver, your gallbladder, your lymphatics, kidney, of course, your bowels. It all plays a role in balancing your hormones. Ultimately, your body needs sufficient cofactors from vitamins and minerals, your vegetables, to be able to help your body detox. It needs sufficient amino acids in the form of protein to help you build these hormones. By making sure you eat a low glycemic impact diet, you're supporting multiple organs of detoxification. I mean, think about puberty, right? Your skin broke out, everything was a hot mess, right? What do we tell teenagers to do? You need to eat better. You need to cut that sugar out. You need to get better hydrated, right? Well, all of that's good for your 40s, your 50s, and beyond. detoxification is my first rule for getting your hormones healthy, because your liver is responsible for binding hormones and metabolizing them to the healthy end, whatever that healthy end is. Better brain function, better sexual function, better metabolism or weight loss. Start with detox, look at the prime line, and make sure that you have a very good multivitamin, because now we're talking about building on to those 4 pillars of TLS and aging really well.
Absolutely. So as far as detoxing, like we have an incredible NutriClean detox. We just came out with you came out with a handout with a 14-day more gentle detox.
Yeah,
that people can do as well. So one of the things is, we suggest that people they do a detox quarterly. And would that be really something you would suggest people to do when they hit this sort of time frame where they are battling this decline in those sex hormones, and they might be seeing slower results in a weight loss program like, or our program? That's one of the solutions, is to do regular detoxing, not just a detox. That's not the solution, is just one, is regular, like maybe quarterly or biannually.
Yeah, it's really important. Is in particular the Hepatic Cleanse that's in the 7-day detox, as well as the special solution detox kit that I put together, because it focuses not just on kind of cleansing out the body or doing that kind of quarterly wash, right? It also has botanicals in it that are specifically meant to bind and help metabolize hormones, and curcuminoids, turmeric, very, very good for doing this.
Your banana bread in the bread box. You're looking for it.
Wendy,
That's great.
Wendy,
So, and you know that Melanie,
Apparently Joe is not on the TLS program.
I was just gonna say.
that is fantastic. But Melanie, you know that I put 2 different detox formulas in that special kit. Oxygen Extreme for skin health, lymphatics for those people that feel like they feel puffy all the time, but Hepatic Cleanse for people that feel like their hormones are the reasons why they're plateauing. So you're absolutely right. It's great for a plateau. The other kicker for a plateau, you guys, in weight loss is digestive enzymes. I'm always really rewarded by the people that do that one simple step and see themselves break through that plateau and capture flow again.
All right, so I'm going to just address the bazillion questions I created by letting people know we have a new 14-day detox. We don't actually have a new kit, you guys. It's not a kit. It's not a SKU. It is simply a handout to describe a possible or optional detox with some of our other incredible detoxification products. So we are going to post that file on the TLS official Facebook page so that everybody can access it there. It is on the Nutrimetrics and the coaches, but we'll get it public.
That's right.
So you
Yes,
guys can
those
all
two, yeah.
access it. So don't worry, we'll get that information to you ASAP. So Zan, you're up next with one of the ones that is really a culprit for so many people, no matter their age, no matter what. And this was certainly one of mine too. So Zan, will you tell us a little bit about what leptin and what that hormone means and does?
Okay, so for that, I have to show you the slide because I always say picture says 1,000 words. So let me show you the slide. So when we talk about people saying that I'm always hungry and I never feel full, a lot of people complain that they do have big appetite, but I would say, to beg to differ, it might not be because you have a big appetite, but maybe because you have a leptin and ghrelin imbalance, or what we call a resistant and sensitivity issue. So let's make it simple. Leptin is a hormone that will release to let you know I'm full. So usually this leptin level will be at the highest after you have a meal, right? After you have your meal, you should feel full. So it should be at the highest. Ghrelin is a hormone to tell you that I'm hungry. So usually ghrelin level will be at the highest right before your meal. Normal reaction, normal responses, everything is fine. However, when you have a lot of fat cell, it really increases leptin resistance. So what that means is that you will eat and you will eat and you will eat, and your body or your brain does not get the signal that stop, I'm full. And you eat. Have you ever had this situation where you eat and you don't feel like you're full, and suddenly you say, oh my goodness, how could I eat that much? That is exactly leptin resistant. And I want to add one more point to, this is how often I tell my client, imagine leptin, ghrelin, as well as another word, which we've been saying a lot of time, it's insulin. All these hormones is like I call them your kids. They all have different personality. And the more you understand their personality, the more you can get along well. The more you work against them, as anybody who have kids, the more you work against them, you pay for it. Okay, so this is why I often say that if you were to understand how it works, then you will. So that's why when for insulin, people say, okay, then I understand that we don't want leptin resistant, because that is mean that you're eating and you still don't feel full. How about insulin resistant? How does that happen? At the same time as when you have so many fat cells, it also increases your risk for insulin resistant. That means your insulin is not sensitive. That means when you're eating food, your body is releasing insulin. You say, oh, that's a good thing. Yes, but your insulin is not working. So I like to kind of put this in picture. So imagine your cell. Insulin is like a key to open the cell so that the sugar can be stored into the cell. And when you have a lot of fat around you, especially your abdominal fat, imagine a lot of fat around your cell. It's like in the wintertime, you have a lot of ice and snow around maybe your lung, and you have a hard time opening that door. And the only way you can open that door is melt the ice. How you melt the ice? Melt the fat. And that's why we all talk about low glycemic impact eating, so that you can actually, in a fat burning mode, you melt the ice so that you can open that door in the most effective and efficient way. And this is why we want to be insulin sensitive as well as leptin sensitive, so the body responds fast. Imagine driving a car and your brakes is not responding fast, you'll be in car accidents. So you definitely don't want that.
For sure. That's awesome, Suzanne. And two of the solutions to help balance and create leptin sensitivity, right? Let's talk a little bit about those.
Yes, we're going to talk about, so one of them is Trim Tea or Trim Cafe. So I know that Dr. D mentioned it, one of them on the ingredient is Well Trim. And what Well Trim does, it really helps to make your leptin, so it reduces inflammation. We talk about inflammation. So when inflammation is reduced, it actually, the leptin can cross your brain and tell you, stop, stop eating. So your brain gets the signal to stop eating. So finally, when you eat, it actually responds accordingly. So one actually targeting your brain to tell you to stop eating. And we have another supplement that all of you probably heard about is Core. So you said, well, Core does very similar. Core is also, and one of the ingredient is Leptocore. Leptocore obviously affects leptin. And how is Leptocore different from the Well Trim and Trim Tea is that one works in your gut and one works in your brain. And we know that these two communicate. And when they are both communicate together, you get the double effect to really help you to reduce that carb craving, to really help you feel full when you should, instead of eating so much and you realize, oh my goodness, I ate way too much. And this is probably why Lawrence felt so much amazing with the Core, because it's telling the gut that, okay, I'm done. Don't eat anymore, because you got the signal basically.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah, Lauren, you're doing all the aspects of TLS. You went in head first and jumped into the deep end and went all the aspects of TLS, which is why you're getting such fantastic results in all aspects of your health.
Well, I also think, Melanie, I think it really does help. Unless somebody tries it, they can't see the difference. Like you don't know what you don't know, right? My husband always says that you have to go through it. So if you eat and you never feel full and you don't take these supplements, well, then you won't understand what I mean. But when you take the supplements, I didn't think that the egg white omelet with vegetables was going to satisfy me until, you have the supplements. You're like, oh, I'm not hungry anymore. I'm good. You know what I mean? And tonight, I love eggs. So I had another egg white omelet for dinner. But it's amazing because you actually do fill up. And I really do believe that the supplements are a huge part of the process.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They accelerate the process. What would normally take months
Yeah.
to do naturally or even years, it just puts jet fuel on the process. So why, I mean, everybody wants results quicker. So why not, right? Dennis, you're going to be talking next about one of the hormones I think we all have way too much of, at least most people. And that is our stress hormone called cortisol. So tell us a little bit about that.
You know, first and foremost, you know, our bodies are amazing chemistry sets, and there are so many different hormones that are essential for us to feel our best. I relate it to an orchestra, and all of the musicians have to play together to get that beautiful music. And that's what the real challenge is for a lot of this. And that's why we talk about these different areas. And that's why one program doesn't fit all. And that's why we have the combination of the 4 pillars of our TLS program. But cortisol is also known as the stress hormone. I often refer to it as the evil hormone, the hormone that makes my wife miserable sometimes. But how can she be miserable with me? But anyway, it is based on stress, and it was really best explained how the hormone is released when you have a environment. When we first started living, we used to have to run from wild animals. It was either fight or flight, and it was released in that process. Now, if you don't know, the cortisol is made in the adrenal gland, and it does connect with the hypothalamus as well as the pituitary gland, and those things all communicate with one another. But cortisol is essential in our bodies, okay? It helps manage the way we use carbs and fats and protein. We also need healthy levels for healthy inflammation, and also for healthy blood pressure. And it helps us with our sleep cycles, and it also boosts energy. But too much, which we specifically in this country are constantly under stress, and more people around the globe are under stress, we start to release more cortisol. And one of the things that we don't like about it is, besides our mood going from one place to another, it also makes us start carrying more visceral fat around the waist area. And that is really tough fat to get rid of. And you need a program like the Transitions Lifestyle System to get through that. But you know, when you start talking about too much cortisol, now we get more anxious, or we have more depression in our lives. We have that difficulty in sleeping. And Suzanne, even, you know, I know, you know, you're very calm, but you're also very active, and you have 2 beautiful children that you got to chase after too. So I understand there's stress in your life. Did you know too much cortisol weakens our muscles? I mean, it breaks down the immunity in our body. It weakens our bones. I mean, cognition gets a little bit airy too. Now, what can we do about it? Well, of course, we can exercise. Exercise is a great way to help bring that down. We can also live life with a purpose. But scientifically, the TLS Axe product, which Lauren mentioned earlier, that addresses adrenal health, healthy cortisol levels, supports the thyroid, and helps you manage stress better, is very good. Now, I'm going to tell everyone that we're out of stock. There's a huge demand for TLS Axe, and it will be in
that demand this past month. We're really sorry, but we're getting it fast.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be in later this month in January, but in the meantime, we have a product called Bliss that will help you relax in the process. It's not as crazy complete as the TLS Axe, but Bliss is a good alternative. And if you couple that with some complex B vitamins or isotonic B product, you're going to find you're feeling better. But once the Axe come in, I totally recommend strongly that you move in that direction. But cortisol is essential, but at the same time, we have to control that. We have to be aware of how that's happening. But what you've heard in the combination from Dee and Mel, as well as Suzanne, you're going to find great results. And hormones are essential. They come from amino acids. They're built with that. I mean, this is a great way to help keep healthy levels of cortisol.
Yeah. And what's so true is we're not necessarily going to be able to get rid of the things that are causing stress in our lives, right? No matter, you know, whether it's our spouses or, you know, what our jobs or whatever the stressors are, we can't necessarily eliminate those. But what we can do is help our body manage its stress response. And that's what TLS-X helps us do, is manage the body's stress response, because that cortisol dripping every single day, you know, when you're feeling like, oh, that to-do list is getting bigger instead of smaller. Oh my gosh, the kids are acting up. Oh my gosh, I'm a homeschool mom. Like, what the heck? If I wanted to be a teacher, I'd have gone to, you know, I'd gone to become one, you know, like my husband always says with the grocery checkout, he's like, if I wanted to be a cashier, you know, I would be. I don't know this self-checkout thing, you know? So, you know, it's like, we can't get rid of these things in our lives, but we can help our body. And low glycemic impact eating is so crucial as well, right? And that's why not any one of our pillars is necessarily the solution, right? Just taking products or just eating right, or just, some people are like, just exercise, right? And their diet isn't good. They're not supplementing to support the machine, you know, and because that's what you need to fuel the beast, right? I always say fuel the beast, because
I also think that the program really does help regulate you. That was the first thing I wrote to everybody the next morning, like, this diet really regulates you, doesn't it? And I think it does. And I think there's a lot of people, I wasn't necessarily one of those people who suffered with that, but I was noticed that it's like the same time every day now. Everything's the same, which is really good, because sometimes people struggle going to the bathroom daily, which is not good for your body, right? And I know that from somebody who has, you know, just 2 years ago underwent removing 25 polyps from my colon. And I was very public about that too. All of that from all the bad stuff we put in our body, right? And inflammation. And one of the things I did, which I'll let Dr. Deidre at the end of the 28 days share with everybody, as I took my blood work before I did this diet, and then I'll do my blood work the day before the end of the 28 days to see how it affects my inflammation, because I really do feel like it's going to help it tremendously. I'm the type of person, if I have like a polyp growing inside of me and before they remove them, you know, I've said I can feel them. They're coming on. I actually can feel them from the outside. And so I really feel like I'm going to be doing so much, but I already feel better. So I think, you know, it's not just about feeling better, sleeping better. We are getting healthier. And, you know, we talked about all those things today. You know, I think about when we were younger, many of us had really regulated hormones, right? Our hormones were really the way they were supposed to be. Everything was in perfect sync. And things were easier then, but it's not always like that today. And so we have to kind of help regulate that some ourselves. And I think that's why some of our supplements are so incredible, like the digestive, Isotonics Digestive Health, which is something that we've incorporated heavily, JR and I, again, over the last 2 weeks, because we forget how amazing that product is and how it breaks down what we're eating and those things that we talked about tonight. And so, you know, I think overall, you're going to not only feel great, you're going to look great, you're going to be better, you're going to be great.
Health as well. But it's nice to be on the regular, huh?
It's definitely nice. I wrote it to everybody, and I wrote it as a group message. I didn't realize it was a group message, but we have a group chat that we all do every morning, and it kind of motivates us, and everybody writes to each other. And I wrote it to everybody, and everybody wrote back, "That's great, Lauren. That's good. Yeah, that's supposed to happen." I was like, "Thank you guys for the poop talk today." You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is that you should be going to the bathroom regularly. And if you're not, this diet will, I don't even like to say diet, this lifestyle will really help you, right? It's definitely helped me. And I think, you know, I think it's just, it just feels good. And that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
And you know, so many more people on here tonight besides us that we haven't even heard from, that are in the chat right now, that have had incredible success just since they've started on January 1st. I've seen people say they lost 4 pounds, 5 pounds. Some people lost. I know that Michelle Tysinger started on January 1st, right? And she lost 12 pounds?
Yeah, 13, 14, actually.
Tell us about that, Dennis. What happened? What did she say?
Well, it was a very emotional conversation, and she's on tonight. And I hope you're well, Michelle. I'm so proud of you.
So
Um,
proud of you.
she made the decision that she was going to make this happen, and I hope she'll be one of our guests next week on Weigh In Wednesday, so everybody can hear from her. But she just made the decision. It was time, and a lot of us have to make that decision, and I give her a great deal of credit. And the conversation all came by when she was looking for our pumpkin spice TLS shake that we had a limited edition. And I happened to buy several because I love it. And so I said, I'll get you one. I'll send you one of mine over. And we start talking. And I said, sure, I'm going to support you. And so we've been communicating. And so we're really proud of her. And she's on her way. I can't wait for everybody to meet her next week.
Yeah, that's awesome. She's online with us. We're really
Congratulations.
proud of you, Michelle. That was incredible. And I think there she is. She said she got it today. Thank you. It's just amazing to see the results that people are experiencing. And like I said, it doesn't have to be that you lost 5 pounds or 2 pounds. It could be that you feel better, that you exercise, that you know you're on your second day. You started day 1 today for you. Whatever your day is, you didn't have to start on January 1 to join the 28 days of weight loss. Please know that we understand that your journey and your life may have not have been able to start on January 1st for whatever reason. It starts when you start, right? And that's what you have to do. You have to make the best of it and clear your path. I really do believe that we're always in the way of our own success. And, you know, we kind of just have to step aside and say, you know what, I'm going to do this for me. And like I did this morning when I woke up, you know, it was very easy for me to get off. It's very easy for me to just get off track with 20 people just here in my own household pulling at me and everybody wanting me. It's easy for me to say, I can't do this right now because, you know, JR needs me and Amber needs me and the kids need me and the office needs me and Mark's calling. It's really much easier to say, and it feels good to say, you know what, you can get me as soon as I'm done at 11 o'clock working out.
Exactly.
You know, whatever your time is, it really feels good to say, you know what, I'm going to control my schedule and my time. And here's the deal. I'll be available at 11, but I'm not going to be available at 10. And that's a cool thing for you to do for you. And for me, it's somewhat empowering because I've always been that person who's an emergency slave to everybody's emergency. And I'm just, you know, mom. Everybody needs mom and, you know, Lauren and for me, it's more about deciding that it's not that I'm just going to do the TLS. I'm going to make it the #1 thing I do for me right now. And that might mean that you go off the grid. When I told you guys, when I stopped smoking, here I am at November 1st was my last day I ever smoked. I made sure everybody knew I would go off the grid for a while because whatever it took, I was going to make it happen. And guess what? Nobody died during that time. And everybody survived and everybody made it. So you need to do the same thing in your own family. People need to support you. They need to be pushing you. They need to elevate you. So you can look in the mirror and say, you know what, I can do this. I did this. I did it. I'm going to control my schedule. I'm going to control my life because we have a tendency. Sometimes we eat too much just because we eat whenever we have time. And you don't need to do that. You know, you're allowed to sit down and have a meal. I tell my daughter all the time, who's ultra thin, but has struggled her whole life with the mentality of how do I stay thin, right? Because sometimes children grow up in such a harsh society today. It's so sad to see because there's so many child bullies out there that, you know, give our own children complexes. So if they have a little bit too much weight on them, they call them fat and they bully them. And if they're too skinny, well, they make fun of them for that too. So I feel like children really struggle. And I feel like it's an important conversation that we don't have enough of. These sessions have been so enlightening, so educational, so informative, yet so inspiring. For all of us. We're not here just for you. We're kind of here for us and you're listening in. And I really say that from the bottom of my heart as a mother who has struggled raising a daughter who went through her own self-confidence issues with food and, you know, struggled with people calling her names if she was too chubby when she was young, if you remember. And then what's that? Yeah, and she conquered them. But, you know, it takes a lot to do those things. And, you know, she's kept it off for life. And when I look at her now and she says, Mom, you really are doing great. You should throw some of these what are the seeds, the pomegranate seeds in your salad. You're going to really like that. Yesterday, she told me that. But somebody who really enjoys the way food tastes, but healthy food. I think it's a conversation that we don't have enough at home. Nobody ever tells us how we talk to our children because they go through so much. Nobody wants to have to say to their child, oh, don't overeat, don't eat that hamburger. And by the way, that's not how you should be saying it. I took every class on the planet to figure out how to communicate with my child when she was eating the wrong things, rather than making her feel bad about herself. We all had, and Andrew, you were here when we went through it. I mean, we did things like everybody, instead of worrying about homework after school, everybody after school went outside and we did a soccer game, the whole household. We all did a baseball game. Everybody got a hula hoop. We did fun things like that. And it's a conversation we need to have because it is an epidemic. And it's more about being healthy for our children. We love our children. We want them to live longer. So this can't be just about us, but if they've learned unhealthy habits, it may be because of us. And it's something that we can fix together. And I hope that in the next couple of weeks, that Dr. Deidre will touch a little bit more on that. I feel as a mother and a parent and somebody who's watched her own child go through her own struggles, I just feel like it's a conversation. I see a lot of people saying yes, yes, yes. I feel like it's a conversation a lot of people would love to have one of our experts talk about, because it would help so many.
Sure. Maybe we can do a Mindful Monday on that, Suzanne.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a
Well, this has been a
fantastic
good
topic
session.
for
I
you.
love that.
Awesome.
Excellent session.
Good advice.
Wednesday Layup was awesome.
All
Good
right.
stuff. Well, hey, we're gonna see Dennis tomorrow at 11 on his Tone Up Thursday.
Get ready.
Catch the recording on the TLS Weight Loss Facebook page if you can't log in at 11. It's all living there right on our official Facebook page. You guys post daily, use the hashtag. Contest rules will come out tomorrow on our TLS blog. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks to all our
Please
panelists.
share what you're eating with all of us. Share your recipes. Share pictures of your food. Inspire us so you can give us. We're all stealing each other's ideas. Don't be ashamed or afraid to share ideas, so we can all benefit from it.
Okay.
Thank you guys
Nice session,
so much.
everybody.
We
Thank
love you.
Thank you very much.